What makes a place feel safe? And how does the sign shape that feeling? Across the world, millions of children experience foster care, group homes, and residential institutions. For many, these spaces become another source of trauma. For others, they can mark the beginning of recovery. Today, we explore how architecture influences these experiences and how thoughtful design can transform care for vulnerable youth. When most people picture care systems for displaced children, the image of the orphanage still lingers. A building type that for many evokes hardship, austerity, and institutional neglect. But why is that? And how has this typology evolved over time? Orphanages, as most of us picture them, emerged in the 19th century. Historian Shirley Swain notes in Institutionalized Childhood that these early facilities often mirror industrial architecture: large dormitories, regimented corridors, and observation windows. These were environments built for control and surveillance rather than comfort or emotional development. The social context only reinforced this. Rapid industrialization, poverty, epidemics, and war expanded these institutions. Protection became the priority, and scale replaced intimacy, while efficiency replaced attachment. By the late 20th century, research from UNICEF and child development experts made the consequences unmistakable: emotional deprivation, attachment disorders, developmental delays, and lifelong psychological effects. While traditional orphanages have largely disappeared in the US, they still exist across parts of Asia, Africa, Eastern Europe, and Latin America. A global research continues to highlight the same issues. UNICEF's landmark report, The Negative Impact of Institutionalization on Children, shows that institutional environments often produce toxic stress, a sustained biological response to environments that feel unsafe or unstimulating. Brain imaging studies reveal reduced neural connectivity, and children frequently struggle with speech, emotional regulation, and social development. A social study in Frontiers in Psychiatry, focusing on Rwanda institutions, found significantly higher rates of depression, anxiety, and low self-esteem among institutionalized youth. And a 2014 five-country study in PLOS ONE concluded that family-based care consistently leads to better developmental outcomes than institutional models. The conclusion is clear. Spaces shape development. Architecture is never neutral, especially for children. For this reason, many countries have begun shifting away from institutional care. UNICEF's 2022 report, In Focus, Ending the Institutionalization of Children, describes a global transition towards family reunification, kindship networks, and small group residential models. Yet, architecture remains central for this transformation. Even in family-oriented systems, some children require temporary residential care, and here, design becomes a powerful tool, not as the aesthetic decoration, but as the physical framework for dignity, stability, and healing. This has given rise to a growing discipline known as trauma-informed design. At its core, it asks, what does safety feel like, and how can architecture embody that? Kayla Crosby's 2023 research connects environmental psychology with architectural strategies, identifying the common traits of trauma-informed environments. Predictable circulation to reduce anxiety. Private spaces that allow autonomy and choice. Acoustic softness and reduced sensory overload. Abundant natural light and connection to landscape. Small, domestic-scale clusters instead of large dormitories. These elements turn architecture into a therapeutic agent, a quiet but constant support in child's healing process. While the US now relies on the foster care system, many countries are redesigning their residential care facilities through trauma-informed principles. The results are producing new architectural precedents with global relevance. Lackman's Garden, Residential Care Institution, Finland. Designed by the Atinen and Oiva architects, Laxman Garden breaks entirely from institutional form. Using finished timber, warm interior light, and small domestic units, The project restructures the logistics of residential care around the needs of the children. Each child has a private bedroom, shared kitchen spaces, and direct access to nature, restoring privacy, normalcy, and community. Girls' Orphanage by Starved Architects, Iran. SAF architects reimagine residential care through cultural sensitivity and dignity. Instead of monolithic dormitories, children live in small, light clusters organized around courtyards. The design cultivates privacy while offering moments of communal connection, recognizing the subtle architecture cues that make a place feel secure and familiar. YSS Ember Youth Recovery Campus in the United States. Designed by RDG, this trauma-informed campus integrates behavioral health services, nature trails, and small cabins for youth in recovery. Every detail, from sidelines to color palettes to spatial sequencing, is calibrated to reduce stress and foster agency. Here, architecture becomes an active participant in the therapeutic process. These examples demonstrate that architecture can do far more than shelter children. It can become a catalyst for resilience and long-term well-being. Yet, as emphasized by a 2023 systematic review in social sciences, design alone is not enough. Care quality, staffing, and institutional policies are equally crucial. Architecture is one part of a larger ecosystem, but it is a part that shapes every moment of a child's day. Buildings can reinforce trauma, or they can gently lessen it. They can isolate or empower. In the best cases, the built environment becomes a kind of caregiver in itself. From the institutional orphanages of the 1800s to today's trauma-informed care models, one lesson endures. Every child deserves more than a shelter. They deserve spaces that protect, uplift, and honor their dignity. As architects, designers, policymakers, and communities, we hold their responsibilities and the opportunity to shape environments that support healing and restore childhood. Because when architecture listens, children can finally be heard.